Hi, first graders. Today we're going to talk about character feelings and text evidence. Remember, the other day we learned that we can often tell how a character is feeling by what they do and say. Remember Ira sleeps over? How is Ira feeling in that story? Well, I remember that he decided not to take his teddy bear to the sleepover. That was what he does. And what he said was that Reggie will laugh and he'll say, "I'm a baby." What he does and what he says told me how Ira was feeling. I figured out that Ira was feeling worried. He was pretty worried about bringing his teddy bear to his very first sleepover at Reggie's house. He didn't want Reggie to laugh at him or call him a baby. What a character does and says are clues. These clues are also called evidence. Evidence is proof. You can use evidence to show how you know the answer to any question. We can use evidence to show how we know a character is feeling. Be a detective when you look for that evidence. Search for those clues in the book that you're reading. Here's how you can go about finding text evidence to help answer questions about a book. First, look at the pictures and read the text. Number 2, read the question so you know what you're supposed to be figuring out. Number 3, look for evidence or clues to support your answer. I'm going to look for evidence that proves how the character is feeling in this book, Frog and Toad Together by Arnold Lobel. I'm going to read one chapter of the book called The Garden. As I read, I'm going to think about how the character is feeling and how I know. The garden. Frog was in his garden. Toad came walking by. "What a fine garden you have, Frog," he said. "Yes," said Frog, "it is very nice, but it was hard work." "I wish I had a garden," said Toad. "Here are some flower seeds. Plant them in the ground," said Frog, "and soon you will have a garden." "How soon?" asked Toad. "Quite soon," said Frog. Toad ran home. He planted the flower seeds. "Now, seeds," said Toad, "start growing." Toad walked up and down a few times. The seeds did not start to grow. Toad put his head to the ground and said loudly, "Now, seeds, start growing." Toad looked at the ground again. The seeds did not start to grow. Toad put his head very close to the ground and shouted, "Now, seeds, start growing!" Frog came running up the path. "What is all this noise?" he asked. "My seeds will not grow," said Toad. "You are shouting too much," said Frog. "These poor seeds are afraid to grow." "My seeds are afraid to grow?" asked Toad. "Of course," said Frog. "Leave them alone for a few days and let the sun shine on them. Let the rain fall on them. Soon your seeds will start to grow." I'm going to stop there. Now let's think. How is Toad feeling in the story? What is the evidence? I think that Toad is feeling frustrated in this story. I know this because Toad yells at his seeds to start growing. I think he's feeling frustrated that his seeds aren't growing fast enough. That Toad yells at his seeds to start growing, this part of the story, is my evidence. That's a part of the story, some text evidence that proves that Toad feels frustrated. First, I thought about the feeling that Toad was having, frustrated, and then I looked for a part of the story that shows that, my evidence. For today's assignment, you're going to do something similar. You're going to see 2 short stories on 2 different slides. First, read each of the stories on each slide. Then, you're going to identify how the character in the story is feeling. There will be 3 choices for you to choose from. Then, you're going to show how you know using text evidence. You'll type or write the part of the story that shows how you know how the character is feeling. See you later and have fun, first grade.